What is Java? Java is a class-based object-oriented programming language that is designed to have as few implementation dependencies as possible. What is a variable? A variable is a container for data that you want to utilize in your code. There are 3 different types: local, instance, and static. Each variable is assigned a data type, some of which include string, int, double, and short. What is an array? An array is a collection of items stored in a sequential order, accessible by their position or index. What is an array list? An array list is a dynamic list that can change in size, used for managing collections. What is an object? An object is an in-memory data structure that combines state and behavior into a usable and useful abstraction, or a collection of variables and methods. Everything in Java is an object, except primitive types. Those can be used as objects with a wrapper class. What are primitive types? Primitive types are basic data types that represent single values. Primitive data types are stored on the stack. The stack is a set of amount of memory space that stores some basic values. What are reference types? Reference types are used to declare variables that can refer to objects of a particular class type. Reference data types are stored on the heap. The heap is a memory space that stores larger data types, such as arrays and objects. What is a method? A method is a block of code that tells an object to perform a specific task or behavior. What does static mean, and when is it used? Static declares a property that belongs to the class itself, and not an instance of it. Can be a variable or a method. An example would be a main method, which is static by default. Can be used to declare a constant value in a class. What is a constructor? A constructor describes the properties that the class has. It has the same name as the class they are in. What is an IDE? IDE is Integrated Development Environment, such as IntelliJ, that allows developers to write code. What is a class? A class acts as a blueprint from which objects are created. A class is an object like a blueprint to a house. What are the 3 pillar principles of OOP? Polymorphism, encapsulation, and inheritance. What is encapsulation? Encapsulation is the bundling of an object state and behaviors into a single unit. It is created using the private access modifier to restrict who can access the data. What is inheritance? Inheritance is when one class acquires all the properties of another parent class, allowing the two to share attributes and methods. What is polymorphism? Polymorphism is a class that can implement an inherited method in its own way. Literally means many forms. Example, singable. What is a for loop? A for loop is used when you want code to repeat a defined number of times. What is a for each loop? A for each loop allows you to iterate through each item in a group from start to finish. What is a package? A package is used to group related classes. Think of it as a folder in a file directory. What is a stack? A stack is a set of memory space that stores some basic values, such as char, int, long, float, double, and boolean. What is a heap? A heap is a memory space that stores larger data types, such as arrays and objects. What is an abstract class? An abstract class is a restricted class that cannot be used to create objects. To access it, it must be inherited from another class. What is an interface class? An interface class specifies the behavior of a class by providing an abstract type. What is RESTful API? RESTful API is an interface that two computer systems use to exchange information securely over the internet. What is an API? An API is an application programming interface. Defines the rules that you must follow to communicate with other software systems. What is REST? REST is representational state transfer. REST is a software that imposes condition on how an API should work. How do RESTful APIs work? The client sends a request to the server. The server authenticates the client and confirms. The server receives the request and processes it internally. The server returns a response to the client. What does RESTful API client contain? Unique resource identifier, method, get, post, put, and delete.